We figure out who's been killing my family, and then we make them pay.
You're a cancerous, dead king walking.
Hey, what the hell is going on?
We came here to rob you.
You killed the wrong maid, bitch.
You killed her, didn't you?
I did it.
Stop, Liam! I know who killed your father!
What the hell? Robert's alive?
That just happened.
It appears
Come
so.
on, man. Spoiler alert. I mean, maybe we should have started the show with a spoiler alert, but it's too late now. Can't
If
put
you're
the
in
toothpaste
Los
back in the
Angeles,
bottle.
blame Will.
Yeah, it's totally my fault. Oh, what a fantastic way to end season 2 and a great way to begin our final Royal Hangover show. Guys, sit back, relax. We've got clips and tweets and stories and surprises, funny business, and most importantly, 3 very special guests. Here's creator Mark Schwahn along with Alexandra Park and William Moseley. Let's do it. Come on. Guys, start tweeting us your thoughts on it. Well, you don't have to clap for yourselves. There's
no one else is going to trust
kind of let us down in here. Guys, start tweeting us your thoughts on the finale with the hashtag The Royal Hangover. And I mean, if you don't know this by now, I guess I've already spoiled something, and we're going to continue to do it. So West Coast viewers, come back in 3 hours to avoid the spoilers that we're even going to get even further into. Yeah. So we got to start with that. Alex, William, Robert being alive is it's a pretty big deal, a major bombshell. When did you guys find out? When did Mark let you know that was going to happen, and then what was your reaction?
I think you kept that one pretty tight-lipped for
very tight-lipped.
Basically right until the end. Yeah,
I mean, we never know anything until we read the script.
We try and guess things.
Did you know just before that montage rolled?
We did know.
We were told just before. Right. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think Tom Austin said this once when he was on with you. I like them to read the scripts like the viewer is going to see the show.
Yeah.
So they get the same feeling that the viewer will get when they watch the show, and it creates a great sense of the excitement on set. Everyone's waiting to get the script, and they get it, and they read it, and then there's a nice buzz, and so they get to experience what I hope the audience will experience.
So you can feel that. You can feel that on set when everybody shoots something that's a big,
a big
twist.
Yeah.
So then, when did you know that you wanted to bring Robert back? Did you start the season with that, or did you guys find that midway through the breaking stories?
I've planned that from the pilot.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you think about the pilot, when they get in the limo, Liam gives the speech, and then these two are in the limo with the Queen.
Yeah.
And he says, tell us what happened with Robert. It seems mysterious, and she says, that's all you need to know. In the pilot, if you go back, you'll see the breadcrumbs are being dropped for a reveal.
Wow, I like it.
I like to hide things in plain sight.
Yeah. Playing the long game on this one.
That's
very cool.
Brand new information.
Cool. So not only is Robert alive, but something seems to be kind of weird in Simon's tomb. We can't tell if he's gone or maybe been replaced. Are Robert and Simon zombies?
Well, they looked in the tomb.
They're not zombies.
They looked in the tomb and they found Violet. Violet's in the.
That's what she wants.
Don't joke.
No. That's that look on the Queen's and Rachel's face. That's. I mean, you got to come back and see what that's all about.
Yeah. So if we're following the Robert model, that'll pay off in season 4, season 5.
Yes, okay. It will pay. No, it'll pay off in season 3.
I'm just kidding. William, Helena opened Simon's tomb to help prove that Liam is the rightful heir. Right. But after all he's gone through, is Liam ready to be king? Is he ready because of what he went through this season?
That's a great question. I always I like Liam in the way that he's an underdog. He's somebody who we root for. He's like the Boston Red Sox. He's the team we really want to win.
Not the Dodgers.
Not the Dodgers. Sadly, he could be the Dodgers in a fictional world.
He's the Chicago Cubs.
He's the Chicago Cubs. He's like the A's. What is that? I saw that movie Moneyball. He's like that. He's like that team.
Yeah.
And we know that he has it in him. He's a winner. He is a good conscience. He's a good person. He cares for his family, cares for his sister. But things always seem to get in his way. You know, it's like people throw things at him, people try to beat him down, people hold him back, and he's always up against it, and that's the mettle of a man. William Moseley, can you go out there? Absolutely, absolutely. Name your place. And
the one before that said, "All I want is a photo of William Moseley holding a husky."
Holding a husky.
That's what it said.
That's really super specific.
As a joke.
Princess Eleanor, president. There you go.
It's gonna fall apart.
He meant something cute and cuddly.
Yeah.
Am I cute and cuddly?
Yes, of course. The finale also answered two major questions from this season. Will Ted get caught, and will Eleanor and Jasper get back together? Both are addressed in this clip. Let's take a look.
Tell Ophelia not to miss me.
That's a sweet moment.
Moving stuff.
But scary. So what is Eleanor thinking in that moment, holding hands with Jasper?
She's thinking a lot of things in that moment. I don't know if it's particularly about Jasper specifically, but the whole world sort of crumbling around her, and I think she sees him as something that's not, and something that is sort of pushed through to prove to her that, you know, he's not one of the things that's falling down. And she's scared, and she feels alone, and he's there, and he makes her feel safe in that moment.
Your character took a pretty incredible journey this season, because at the beginning of the season she was really a mess. But then by the end of it, it seemed like she'd found sure footing and more confidence. How would you describe the journey that she went on?
Well, yeah, like you've explained. I mean, basically, in the beginning, she was in very much self-destruction mode, and classic Eleanor, walled up, blocking everything out, not wanting to acknowledge what's gone on from the end of season 1, and then, you know, slowly she starts to let more people into her life as the season goes on, and I think she learns things from each of those people, either good or bad things, and you know, that's her becoming stronger and letting people in, and towards the end, obviously, everything's put in perspective, and
it all goes red.
It all goes red.
Yeah, I think this season, in a big way, was about these two characters finding their feet and finding their strength, and I think that's a big part of the show. It's always going to be about Liam and Eleanor, and who they're going to be, and are they going to make this? Will their sins be the same as their parents? Or will they find their own way?
Well, sort of directly going off of that, then, that moment in the stadium, or before the stadium, when Liam has the opportunity to get his revenge on Ted, but doesn't take it. Instead, it seems kind of fitting that the British people do it. Did you want him to get his revenge?
Did I want Liam to get his revenge on Ted? You know, that's a really good question. I personally, I don't think Liam did want to get revenge on Ted. I think revenge is a very broad answer. You know, what is a revenge? Some people believe revenge is death, a life for a life, but I don't think Liam believes that. You know, I think he actually would have rather Ted have to pay for his sins in a different way. I think death is an easy way out, and I think imprisonment or something along those lines would have been a lot better. It's actually a very brutal way to die. I mean, being kicked over and over again. So I don't think Liam ever would feel good about that. And I'm sure that's something that will live on his conscience, especially, you know, Ophelia being a major part of his life, and, you know, sort of seeing Ted as a father figure throughout the season and throughout his life, a protector. To then see that happen to him, I don't think was ever going to be something he would be happy about.
I think it was a big moment. I agree with you, Will, and I think it was a big moment when when Ted challenged him and said, if you go out there, you're going to be held responsible for the sins of your family if these videos don't change. And Liam's response was, somebody has to be.
Yeah.
And he chooses to step into the spotlight, and I think that's a big part of his growth.
Absolutely. And he would have accepted.
Yes, that's right.
He would have accepted the punishment
had it gone wrong.
Just as quickly, you know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Helena gets her revenge on Cyrus in this episode. Yeah. Let's take a look at this clip, and then we'll talk about what it all means and dissect it.
Prudence is gone, and so's her child.
I married her. You're no longer queen.
The man who married you was my gynecologist. Rachel had them switched. Team Helena.
But you can't just kidnap her.
Oh, I can assure you, she went quite willingly.
But the prenup agreement. She wanted this.
Prenup agreement was Prudence's idea, designed to lower your guard. Clever girl. Also, Team Helena.
You manipulated her. You said you were done fighting back, and then you take my son? Why would you do that? In the name of what?
Alistair Lacey. You take away my future, I take away yours. Enjoy cancer.
Ooh, checkmate. Or is it? I mean, it seems like Cyrus is kind of out of moves, out of options in this moment, but he'd sort of become a softer or more gentle version of Cyrus over the course of the season. But doesn't this just sort of reignite his fire for vengeance?
I think so, and I'd be excited to see that. You know, I think that when Cyrus is cornered, that he reloads and he's going to fight back and he can be diabolical. And we know that the Queen can fight fire with fire. I look forward to seeing how they both respond, because these two can be very villainous. And I think that if they choose to go to war against each other, it's going to be really interesting, especially considering the fact that she wants those bones to prove paternity.
Yeah.
So I think there's a bit of a war brewing. There's a storm coming, and I think it's going to be really watchable and exciting.
Yeah. Did somebody in the writers' room once accidentally get married by a gynecologist? Did that come from
but I wonder if the fans pick up on this. There's a moment when James Hill comes to speak to the Queen, and she's hanging up the phone, and she says, "Thank you, doctor. You know, your discretion is appreciated."
Yeah.
And she hangs up, and it was just it's planted in there again. There's a seed.
Sight.
There's a seed in there.
Yeah.
They could have been talking about paternity or something else, or she could have been making the call to set up the priest and those types of things.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Alex, the family seems to have united, at least the three of you anyway, in this episode to like take care of family business and unite. Will we see that? Do you think we'll see that continue in the future, or is this like a tepid alliance?
I mean, that's going to be a question for Mark, but I mean, I hope so. I feel like after, you know, something like this happens, it's going to create a bond and make a lot of issues sort of fade away that they had between each other. And I feel like, I hope so, but this guy will let you know when he writes
I mean, that's a big part of this. I've always said that it's a show about a family. They might be a royal family, but they're still a family. And I think it's been really interesting. Some of my favorite scenes of the season are the scenes of the three of them, including in the finale when the Queen is having a drink and feeling guilty about the choices she made and sits and talks to her children. That's a great scene, and it's a great moment.
The fans really seem to love those moments as well. Yeah. This season had a lot of plot twists and turns. What twist or story beat got the most buzz on social media? Which one were you guys hearing about?
That's a really good question. You know, I think I did see quite a lot. Because my character gets quite emotional when he finds out who killed his father, obviously Ted. And I saw quite a lot of stuff about that, like what's Liam freaking out about? What's going on? Why is he sad? What's he crying about? Like, you know, like there was kind of quite a lot of buzz about that. And I think it is always interesting when you see one of your heroes break down. You know, you see him lose everything. You know, you see all hope lost, and that is of course a ... where the audience is going to ask, how did this happen? You know, how do we take care of him? How is he going to rise up finally and achieve his inevitable goal? So that was quite a buzzworthy moment.
Was that scene a tough scene to shoot? What were, in your opinion, the last couple of episodes? You know, you had some pretty emotional, pretty dramatic moments. What was one of the tougher ones for you to shoot?
That was actually probably the toughest, shooting that scene, because often when you go into a scene, you have a plan. You have a plan when you show up for a scene. You have an idea. You have a plan, and often Mark will come in, or your director, and they will say, you know, how about this? Add this and this and this. Add that and that and that, and that is like another parachute. It's like more help, and you're finding more and more in the scene as you do it. But a big emotional scene, it's sort of like your director can't really help you. Then no one can help you. You have to kind of do it yourself. As Alex knows, she has a really big one this season as well. And when you're in those moments, it's down to you, and the camera's only going to roll so long. The crew's only going to stay for however long they've been paid for. So you better get it together. And like it's hard, but you do it. Inevitably, you just have to do it, whatever it takes.
And in the finale, they both had really emotional stuff to do. I mean, William had to go into that security room and be locked in, and see the death of his father and play all of that stuff. And Alex had the scene with Jasper, when Jasper comes to her room and she says, "I can't see you anymore." And what the viewer may not consider, because we don't ask them to consider this and we don't want them to, is, you know, Will's in a headspace. He's getting ready to do his scene. Alex is, and you've got a guy going, "Can I just get focused? Can I just measure this?" And it's like, Will, could you stand on your left leg a little more? That's good, right there.
Alex has a hair right there. If you could move that.
Your eyes are so
like you're like good to go, and someone's like, "Oh, there's that plan should not be there. We got to move that."
Or like the camera was like out of focus on that take, which is the thing you never want to hear.
Exactly.
Oh my God!
And the guy feels so bad.
They do a great job, and it's
we have an amazing team around us. Like the crew is very supportive. Mark is so good in those moments. Like he plays music for us. He helps us. He's very, very sensitive to understanding what we go through. So, you know, we're very, very lucky to be on the rolls and perform these scenes.
Yeah, I mean, in the work shows. There was a lot of heartbreak this season, a lot of tragedy, but for me there was one loss that I found particularly like shattering, and we cut together a very special and heartfelt tribute, a montage, I believe the French call it, to the most devastating and tragic loss of the season.
We don't call it that.
I have cancer of the balls.
Testicular cancer?
No, lung cancer in my balls. Yes, testicular cancer. You wait your entire life to be king, and then they cut off your balls.
Remove the great sword of state from my throat. Also, help me God, you're going to lose your last remaining testicle.
Which one am I losing? What, your right one? Big one.
Your prosthetic testicle, sir.
Look at the sack on that one. I bruised my thighs playing squash.
You know what they say about guys with big chins? No balls.
You kicked my balls!
I kicked your baller.
Let's face it. You never had any balls anyway.
Wow. We'll wipe a tear away from that one. I mean, will we be
a real loss.
Well, it is a real loss. Will we be seeing Cyrus's testicle return in season 3?
Well, he picked one up from the bulldog, so at least he'll have a nudicle, I think they call them, which is an artificial replacement.
Yeah. With the season coming to at a close now, do you guys feel like a weight has been lifted? Can you finally talk about work with your friends and family without having to worry about having given up spoilers?
Or me lurking around going, Will, don't say that.
Actually, Mark gets really stressed out because often you're on social media or something and like you like tweet a picture of something or you take something and you just completely forget that actually the audience has no idea what it's about, and that might have revealed the end of the entire show. You know, we did have a slight one of those.
We had several,
and like
you have to be really careful.
You have to be really careful.
I mean, you know, someone will take a picture and there'll be an actor's dressing room door in the background with a character name.
Yeah,
and
that character's dead. And that character's dead.
Yeah,
we know the character's alive.
And everybody's come on, Robert. So, what can you tell us about season 3, except for the fact that I'm sure there will be now a stricter social media policy?
Well, as you said, there are a lot of things in play. And I think that final montage, or that final coda, if you will, we call them codas. It introduces a lot of things. Eleanor taking Jasper's hand. What does that mean for them?
Yeah.
Was that a momentary thing, or is that the beginning of their relationship again? I love that, considering where they started in episode 1 and where they got to, this chaste, trusting, hand-holding. I think that's a wonderful place to be, but it could go in any number of directions. And we see how ashen Liam is at the end of it, coming from that stadium. So we don't know which direction he'll go in. The paternity stuff, Robert's appearance. There's a lot going on, and as you mentioned, the Queen and Cyrus going to war.
There is a lot going on,
Yeah,
and if you're looking for new writers, there are thousands of loyals out there, hashtag loyals, willing to give it a try. In fact, all last week we held a photo caption contest on Twitter using screen grabs from the episode. So we're going to show you guys some what the fans wrote, and you guys are going to pick your favorite. All right.
All right.
All right. Here's our first one. It's Liam pointing a gun at Ted. And here's for the first caption is...
I don't like that. They could have chosen a better angle.
Before I kill you, can I marry your daughter? There's our second caption. Drop all the chocolate chip cookies and no one gets hurt.
That's
all right.
me.
Third caption. I'm prepared to see how far diplomatic immunity can stretch.
He doesn't have diplomatic immunity.
Those are very good.
Which one did you like the most?
So chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah. all right.
Pretty good.
Here's Cyrus announcing he's engaged to Prudence. And here's our first caption. You call this a proper manicure?
That was good.
Genius.
Number 2. I don't always sleep with commoners, but when I do, I prefer hired help.
He does prefer hired help.
And then our third one. Look at what we got from a Cracker Jack box. Which one did you guys think?
The manicure one.
The manicure
That's
one?
genius.
That was good.
Yeah.
And here's Eleanor and Liam holding what they think is photographic proof that Helena was involved in Dominique's death. Here's our first caption. According to this, I'm in Narnia. I'm a king already.
How didn't we get Narnia quote?
I don't know. Caption 2. What's a 5-letter word for evil, conniving, power-hungry monarch? Starts with a C. All right.
Isn't it a 4-letter word?
Okay, all right.
There's another. Here's our third one. This is the clue we've been looking for. Stephen Avery is innocent. Nice. Making a murderer shout out there.
Wow.
Which one did you guys?
That was a good
They
reference.
went Netflix on that.
they
didn't
did.
Very
Emerging
good.
Worlds. Which one did you like?
I like the Narnia one.
The
Probably, yeah.
Alex goes with Narnia.
Oh my
I'll go
God!
with
Well, guys, season 2 was a hell of a ride. Thank you so much, Mark and Alex and William and the entire Royals cast and crew. Really, we can't wait for the show to return in the fall. Maybe we'll be back here doing something similar. In the meantime, you guys have created an amazing community of hashtag loyals on Twitter and Facebook. So I hope you guys keep the conversation going until you're all reunited with Eleanor and Liam and the rest of your fictional favorite royals. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night, guys. Maybe we'll see you in the fall.
Thank you, guys.
Great. Thanks so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you for watching.
Hello Royal subjects, thank you for checking out the YouTube channel, and I invite you to subscribe so you don't miss even one moment of my royal shenanigans.